Hello everyone at Estevão Lives. If you like the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel.
Millions of taxpayer dollars were spent on controversial projects worldwide, including $7.9 million to teach Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid binary gender language. Number two, $4.5 million to...
Who hasn't been calling for that?
That's right. $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan.
Yes.
$2 million for sex changes and LGBTQ activism in Guatemala.
Thank God. We're fixed now.
$2.1 million to help the BBC value the diversity of Libyan society.
Now I can sleep good at night.
$10 million.
BBC is in British Broadcasting Corp.
$10 million worth of USAID funded meals ended up with an Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group.
Yes.
$6 million for tourism in Egypt. $5 million to EcoHealth Alliance, which helped fund bat virus reached at the Wuhan lab. $1.5 million to an Armenian LGBT group.
That's what matters. That's what matters.
That one we can
I'm
let
not
slide
even
a little
supporting
bit.
it.
Forget about
Let's let that one slide a little bit.
Forget about the Armenian genocide that's going on.
We got to touch LGBT.
Don't worry about the
$1.5 million to the LGBT advocacy in Jamaica. $2 million to promote LGBT equity in Latin America through entrepreneurship. $2.3 million for artisanal and small-scale gold mining in the Amazon.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
Me neither.
$5.5 million for LGBT activism in Uganda. This is where the money is going. But this is why people are so annoyed. I want you to watch this clip. This is from 0809, okay? 09. Ben Bernanke is being asked about where $500 billion of money went to. This was shared to me by Brandon. Play this clip here and watch the way he answers and just watch his body language and tell me if you believe him.
What's
Go
his
ahead,
job
Rob.
title? But Pat, what was he
the
back
chairman of the Fed.
The Fed. He was the head of the Fed.
No, this guy was like the previous
Alan
Jerome
Greenspan.
Powell.
Well,
The younger people. Well, the younger people that look at it.
Play this clip. Go for it.
Who got the money?
To financial institutions in Europe and other countries?
Which ones?
I don't know.
$500 billion.
$500 billion, and you don't know who got the money?
The loan went to the loans go to the central banks, and they then put them out to their institutions to try to bring down short-term interest rates in dollar markets around the world.
Well, let's start with which central banks got the money.
There are 14 of them, which are listed in our. I'm sure they're listed in here somewhere.
All right. So who
Watch.
actually made that decision to hand out $1 trillion that way? $500 billion. Who made that decision?
The Federal Open Market Committee.
Okay. And was it done at one time or in a series of
A
meetings?
series of meetings.
And under what legal authority?
We have a long-standing legal authority to do swaps with other central banks.
Do you happen to know
It's not an emergency authority of any kind.
anything specific about it?
Yeah, it's his lawyer.
Do you know the?
Anybody?
My counsel says Section 14 of the Federal Reserve Act.
Tom, thoughts on this?
You know, it's amazing that such a massive. By the way, does anybody remember how much TARP was? What was TARP?
$787 billion.
Okay, so we're talking about a number that is 75% of TARP. And TARP, we agonized over it, and who's getting it, and is everybody going to pay it back? And I guess Ford didn't take it. You know, there were islands in the stream of companies that didn't do it. And we were so concerned about all that TARP money. And he is casually talking about, well, yeah, we gave it to the central banks. Central banks give it to their banks. $500 billion. And
I couldn't agree more with what he laid out. Beck is absolutely right when he says, this is how wars start. And I'm blown away by how clearly he connects the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE investigations, to an impending global threat. The work led by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy under the Trump administration is stirring up dangerous hornet's nests. And Beck hits the nail on the head by warning that exposing billions in federal spending fraud could set the world ablaze. It's a truth many don't want to face, but I see it as a call to action. Beck starts by explaining how DOGE is revolutionizing the way we look at public money, and I think that's fantastic. He mentions that Elon Musk's team is digging into every detail, uncovering absurdities like millions sent for gender language training in Sri Lanka. I agree with Beck. That's a shameful waste. And when he reveals that some of that money ended up funding terrorist groups like the Taliban through corrupt NGOs, I'm as outraged as he is. Beck is spot on. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and DOGE is bringing to light a global corruption network that needs to be stopped.
it shows how big the dollars are at the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, and how big the world economy are, but also how blasé our number one leader is about it and not knowing it. How can you not know? Well, it was $500 million, and it was a really tough time because this is 2009, and I think all you good people know that last year, 08, was a suck of a year. And so it went this far, much this way, this much went here, this much went here, because the contagion that was the collapse in the U.S. spread over to those banks, and so we needed to give them liquidity, and here's the top 5.
And this is just the beginning of it.
Don't you want a guy to say that?
We tracked this about 4 years ago. There's about $4 trillion that did just that, kind of just disappeared from the United States. The scary thing is, this is where we get war. This is when the entire world is destabilized. Bessent said just this weekend, he said, Elon Musk is going in and he's going to make recommendations. He's not making changes. He's making recommendations. We did this in the 70s. We did this in the 90s, and nothing happened. He said, so we're going to get his recommendations, and I don't make the decision. This Secretary of Treasury, I don't make the decision. Me expecting him to say, the president and I will make the decision. No. We will give these recommendations to the Federal Reserve, and they will make the decisions. Excuse me? So when Elon Musk said, we've got to audit the Fed, when you get to the Central Bank of the United States and they try to get in there, that's when you're going to see the entire world destabilized, because that thing is a black hole. A black hole.
I think this is just inevitably needed. I mean, when you ask the common person and they say, I pay taxes, I made 300 grand this year, I made 100 grand this year, I made $500,000 this year, I made 50 grand this year. Where do all my taxes go? You go look at your paycheck and it has your, Social Security, you have Medicare, you have Medicaid, you have all these employee tax payroll. You're like, what's happening right now? So then, accountability is a hell of a drug. Mm-hmm. And when you start asking these questions, so yeah, what happened to $500 billion? He's just like, yeah, I don't know. What my lawyer said, yeah, according to Section 472.
But you know
I
what?
don't really know.
But that's also the reason why America is excited about DOGE.
Yes.
That's why. It's
Yes.
very simple. America just wants to know, where is my money going? And you talk about team of rivals. You know what it makes me think about? Why it's possible for the $3 trillion to be gone. If there's such a thing as team of rivals, there has to be such a thing as team of criminals.
Yes.
Where they protect each other and it's like, hey, how much you got? Okay, cool. All right, good. Good for you, my brother. Okay, I'm going to go. How much you got? Okay. Guys, yes, so this is, well, look, sometimes it happens and, but we're going to have to move on, and to see what's in the bill, you have to pass it first to find out exactly what we're spending money, and trust the politicians that they have the best interest in you. And we're like, no.
Exposing those people is Jason Bourne stuff. That's when you get the most powerful people with all this money saying, not me, not me, cause a distraction. That's when you start to have wars.
And that's the problem, Glenn, I think. Sorry, Adam. I think that's the problem of why this guy has been such a threat to them.
Yes.
No wonder why they tried to shoot him. No wonder why they're trying to destroy him. It just hasn't stopped, because now he's in. He's pulled back the current. And Glenn, and now we're going transgender what the like.
So listen to this though. We're still framing this incorrectly. People are saying, where did my tax money go?
Yeah.
You will work your entire life. You will struggle to make your taxes, to be able to go to the grocery store, because you're paying your fair share.
Yeah.
All of your money will not pay for the LGBTQ advancement in Uganda. Everything you've paid your entire life will not pay for that one program. What the hell?
Yeah.
You say we're here and I'm getting Social Security tax taken out. Then I have to pay my income tax. They're spending not only the income tax, they're spending more than the income tax, and they've spent your Social Security money as well. Yeah. They're leaving you penniless. For what? Not Ugandans. They're doing it for the NGOs and the power.
Yeah,
exactly.
And not even the NGOs as well. I mean, look at the Department of Defense. So, I mean, I think, Robert, I sent you that clip, the conversation that Jon Stewart had with, I think, the deputy secretary of the...
This is not new.
Yeah.
Okay, but the point is, this is the problem.
Yeah, you can play this clip, but play the clip. This is older. And Rob, if you can get the date so we can tell the audience when this is from, we'll go for it.
2 summers ago.
Like, there is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits and waste, fraud, and abuse are not the same thing. So let's decompose
Then
these
please
pieces for a
educate me
moment.
on
Sure.
what
So an
the
audit is
difference
exactly what you just described,
Yes.
which is, do I know what was delivered to which place?
Right.
The ability to pass an audit or the fact that the DOD has not passed an audit is not suggestive of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is completely false right there.
Because we didn't pass the audit.
So what is
Now
it
it's a
suggestive
question
of?
it's suggestive that we don't have an accurate
looks
inventory
angry.
that we can pull up
Line by
of
line.
what we have where.
Watch her laugh. Watch this
That
laugh.
is not the same as saying we can't do that because waste, fraud, and abuse has occurred.
Ready for the
So
laugh?
in my world,
Yeah.
Yep.
that's waste.
How is that waste?
If I give you $1 billion and you can't tell me what happened to it, that to me is wasteful. That means you
Well,
are
we didn't
not
responsible.
But if you can't tell me where it went, then what am I supposed to think? And when there has been reporting, I mean, this is not, look, I'm not saying this is on you and that you caused this, but I think it's a tough argument to
I'm pretty
make
sure I
that
didn't cause it.
an $850 billion
so funny.
budget
Yeah, what's
to an
funny?
organization
You can pause
that
it,
can't
Rob.
pass-
It's disturbing to listen to. Like, what's funny about
This is the best thing that can happen that Donald Trump can do. Right now, you're going after USAID. And so all the liberals are saying, oh my gosh, you're going to stop feeding children.
Yeah.
What are they going to say when the conservatives go into the Pentagon and say, look at the billions of
Bingo.
dollars?
Yeah.
That you have nothing to say. You have
wanna
nothing to
stop
say.
funding
We're
foreign
supposed
wars
to
and
be
all this?
we're
Yeah.
supposed to be the war hawks. I don't want any waste, any abuse,
thank you.
and no bribery.
Yeah,
nothing. None of it.
Well, you know what drives me crazy though, because we had Chris Cuomo, who we love Chris, and he was here. Their attitude is, the Democrats' attitude is like, yeah, but it's a 1%. I'll go, I don't give a shit.
I don't
how
care.
percent? It's billions and billions. It's like with the border. If one American girl gets raped and murdered by an illegal, that's too much. I don't want $1 going anywhere for anybody else. It's America first.
If this was
What really struck me was how Beck tied these cuts to foreign interests. He talks about China using U.S.-funded NGOs to manipulate policies in Asia, and I have no doubt he's correct. When DOGE cuts off that funding, as Beck says, nations like Russia and Iran will feel the impact, and I see complete sense in the idea that they might retaliate. Beck is right to assert that cutting the money is cutting the power, and I believe that really does create dangerous enemies. He makes us realize that the work of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, while essential, is putting the U.S. in a precarious position on the global chessboard. Domestically, Beck is also dead on in pointing out the Democrats' panic. I fully support his view that they're terrified because DOGE might expose decades of reckless spending approved under their watch. When Beck praises Elon Musk for his courage, saying, only someone like Elon could do this, I couldn't agree more. He's a fearless genius, and the Trump administration made the perfect choice putting him in charge. Beck ties it all to Trump's leadership, and I see this as proof that only a government like his has the guts to take on the corrupt establishment. Len Beck warns that Glenn Beck sees Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy's DOGE investigations, backed by Donald Trump, uncovering billions in fraud as a global threat. Glenn Beck says Elon Musk found funds going to terrorists via NGOs, and Glenn Beck agrees it's outrageous. Vivek Ramaswamy pushes audits, Glenn Beck notes, while Donald Trump supports Elon Musk's bold moves. Glenn Beck fears nations like China might retaliate, and Vivek Ramaswamy's work could spark wars, per Glenn Beck. Donald Trump's vision drives Elon Musk, but Glenn Beck cautions collapse abroad is risky. Patrick, if involved, aligns with Glenn Beck praising Donald Trump and Elon Musk's fight. Glenn Beck, Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and Patrick stand firm. Glenn Beck urges readiness.